one of the main reasons we even started Bare Elements was to find a really good natural deodorant for us and for our friends. Yeah, deodorant. It still needs to be talked about. I recently went to my local grocery store, and I had particularly went there to take pictures of, the plastic in the aisles and like the different deodorants that are in the aisles. And so I go and I'm taking my pictures, and, for the love of God, why did I decide to turn it over? I was just going there to document the plastic for a post. I wasn't trying to like get lost in the ingredients. And, it's being somebody who likes to know what's in my stuff. So I turned it over, and granted, this is one of the deodorants that I'd used my whole adolescence. I mean, growing up, like, this was a popular one for me. I used it a really long time, before me and Jess started making our own deodorant. And so for the love of God, I turned it over, and what did I see? Like, the first thing I see is talc. And we're going to talk about talc in a little bit here, but that was the first ingredient that I seen, okay? And I had just watched a documentary about talc and Johnson & Johnson and baby powder. I don't know if you all know what I'm talking about. I believe it's on HBO or Netflix, but there is a documentary, and they just kind of totally break apart the cosmetic industry, and they really do just talk about a lot of stuff. So that was the first thing I saw, and I was like, oh my God, why is it in this? A lot of people don't know that it's still really harmful for you. So, okay, that sparked the episode today. So today we're going to talk about deodorant, and we're going to talk about some facts, and we're going to talk about some ways that you can, know what you're buying and have it not have a ginormous environmental impact and not a harmful impact on your health, because that's important too. So, okay, let's get started. That's what sparked the episode, I guess you could say. So let's talk about the environmental impact of deodorant. Now, this is an industry, okay? This is a total industry. You have to remember that. So the deodorant industry produces over 15 million pounds of plastic waste each year. So that is just the environmental impact of 15 million pounds. It's an overwhelming majority of deodorants on the shelf are in plastic packaging that cannot be recycled. Yeah, you could say so you can't recycle these. It's saying that there's 6+ different types of plastic that are meshed together in these packages. So what does it say here? It says they are made from 6+ plastic resins that would have to be meticulously disassembled by the user after use in order to be recycled. And even then, only 1 or 2 parts would be eligible for recycling. So this is a huge problem because there's no way to really get rid of it. So definitely you would want to choose a deodorant that doesn't have such a bad environmental impact and that could possibly biodegrade, that's biodegradable and compostable, so that whenever you're done, because you're buying a deodorant maybe once a month, I don't know, maybe even more than that, just keep in mind it may seem like a really small adjustment to replace that, but small steps, small changes, they really do add up, and it won't have to be like this huge swap. Just start with that one deodorant and just try and choose one that doesn't have as much of an environmental impact. And it's totally possible because there's so many companies out there that are noticing this. They're noticing that people don't want deodorant in plastic anymore, and they are willing to shift and change and find a company that represents their values. And I think that's really important nowadays because you definitely want something that's going to represent what you stand for, and something that's plastic that can't biodegrade, that's really, really hard to get rid of. We should be, moving in another direction here. So, try and look for companies that don't have as much of an environmental impact as other companies do. So that's the environmental impact. So what's in it? I feel like the what's in it is the scary part. Like I was telling you about my trip to the grocery store and walking down the aisle and turning over the package, which I do a lot when I shop. It takes me a long time to shop. But it's important. It's definitely important. So there's a difference between deodorants and antiperspirants. Deodorants deodorize, so they make your sweat smell better. And antiperspirants actually make you sweat or perspire less. Most antiperspirants, we're going to start talking about these ingredients because they're definitely important to talk about. And I'm just going to break it down. Let's just go through the ingredients really quick that were listed on this deodorant that I had seen. And I'm probably pretty sure that there are a bunch of them on the shelf there because, you know, there's usually a trend with that. So, one second here, take a sip of this. Okay, so the first ingredient that was on the back of the deodorant that I found, it said aluminum. And then it says diamethicone, mineral oil, petrolatum, sterile alcohol, fragrance, talc, water, propylene glycol, and then there were a few more, but we're gonna break down a couple of these. We're not gonna go through them all. There's definitely, if you just turn over your deodorant, if you know what I mean, you can look up all these ingredients yourself. But I just want to break down a couple of the really loud ones that speak out to me. And so the first one is aluminum. So antiperspirants are the ones that have a lot of the aluminum in it. Some deodorants don't have aluminum in it, but the antiperspirants, they usually have aluminum. That's a type of metal. Antiperspirants help you sweat less by blocking your pores, the tiny openings in your skin that the sweat allows, that the sweat will come out of. Antiperspirants contain these ingredients, the aluminum salts. You can see it as aluminum salts on the back, or just aluminum. Aluminum salts actually dissolve on your skin and melt into your pores, and that is what plugs your pores, and that'll stop you from sweating. So that's how antiperspirants work, and the aluminum helps to block your pores so that you aren't sweating. But aluminum is a metal, and we're humans, and so heavy metals, over a lot of heavy metals, over time, you figure you put deodorant on every day, that can really add up in your body. And aluminum has been linked to Alzheimer's and breast cancer, and after long time exposure of heavy metals can be dangerous. There's tons of studies online, so definitely feel free to do some research yourself and look up these ingredients. So the next one I wanted to break down was petrolatum. So petrolatum is a colorless, pale yellow, semi-solid byproduct of petroleum or crude oil refining, and after hundreds of years, its initial discovery, petrolatum has a wide range of applications, and it's in a lot of personal care products and cosmetics in the industry. So as a petroleum product, petrolatum runs the risk of being contaminated with something called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs. These organic compounds are present in crude oil and crude oil byproducts, and are believed to have acute chronic effects on the human health, which can range from skin inflammation and irritation to breathing problems. So this is what's being found in some of the deodorants and other skincare products. This petrolatum can seriously harm your skin. And you would, so this would be used whenever you're applying it and it's blocking those pores. It's going to be, naturally on the skin and in the skin. So definitely petrolatum, that was one of the ingredients. Definitely want to stay away from that ingredient. So let's see what's next on this list here. Fragrance. Oh man, so you may have heard a lot about fragrance. Fragrance is it could be labeled, fragrance is labeled fragrance and perfume. It's not like an actual ingredient. It's like a bunch of chemicals that are kind of just thrown together. and create this fragrance. It's not very regulated, so companies can really get away with kind of putting whatever they want and calling it fragrance. So really be careful when you see fragrance on it. A lot of fragrances have 5-phthalates in it, and 5-phthalates are endocrine disruptors. So they will like definitely disrupt your endocrine system, which is like definitely associated with your hormones, with your sex drive, sex hormones, pituitary, thyroid, adrenals, all that stuff. So these are some things. 75% of the time, phthalates are found within fragrances. And so that's definitely something that you would want to look for on a label. If you see if that is in it, and that's definitely an ingredient you would want to, have a red flag. And then the ingredient that I saw that was a red flag for me was with this plastic deodorant was talc. And talc is a naturally occurring mineral that's extracted from rock deposits. It's really good for absorbing moisture, anti-caking, reduces friction. That's why Johnson & Johnson used it as a baby powder. Now, I used baby powder my whole adolescence, and my family used it. Like, we all used Johnson & Johnson. I mean, it was something that was kind of just something that you did. I don't know if that was the same for you, was the same for you as well, or is, but talc was the main ingredient. Now, talc and asbestos are naturally occurring minerals, and like I said, I have watched this documentary, I believe it's on HBO, but they were talking about talc and how, it could cause mesothelioma and all these crazy things of, with your breathing and stuff. So, but yeah, so talc and asbestos are kind of naturally occurring, and it's really hard to get it all separated. So there's studies online that you can read, but a lot of times they're like, there's no way to truly separate these minerals because they form together, which is really scary. So when I seen that in the deodorant, I was just kind of like, well, why is this still in here? Even if it is, people, why would you even, have it in there? But it's still in there. You think they would take it out, but they no. So talc is definitely something that you'd want to look for too. There's so many other ingredients, but yeah, take a look, turn yours over, see what's in it. Definitely be aware of what you're putting on in your body. That's definitely important, I definitely think. So let's go to our low waste tips and tricks. So what can we do about this? So if you don't want to purchase those types of deodorants anymore, what can you do? So you can find an environmentally friendly deodorant, one that is oh my gosh, sorry. One that's packaged plastic free, one that maybe is reusable, one that isn't going to not biodegrade. So yeah, one that is environmentally friendly. There's plenty of companies out there that are making the switch, plastic free. So just go out there, do a little bit of research here at Bare Elements. We also have a line of wonderful deodorants, lots of different scents to choose from. But yeah, check out our products as well if you're interested. We have a really great line of plastic-free, vegan, all-natural, toxic-free personal care products, and we're branching out into kitchen products as well. So definitely check out our stuff. You can go to bareelementsllc.etsy.com. Also, if you are a crafty one and you'd like to make your, personal care items DIY, absolutely. I love making my own things, and it can be very empowering, and you can make bulk of things, which is really nice. But try making your own deodorant. You can, there's tons of recipes online. So go out there and try and, come up with your own formulas. It'd be really fun. But yeah, DIY. And that way you know what's in it because you made it. Definitely check the ingredients that you buy too. I mean, it's, whenever you're trying to, whenever you're on this journey, you really just want to do your best. And so you want to find products that align with your future and your vision and what you see and what you value in your life. And, you know, just take that time to, you know, find those products and just research them. It takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth it in the end. You could totally make your own. You'll know exactly what's in it. You can make a lot of it for yourself and for your family. But yes, DIY, there's tons of recipes online. There's videos, you know, the internet.